As shown in this graph, hate towards people of color and propaganda, white supremacy propaganda, has risen over the past few years. Good afternoon, my name is Asil Hawani.
My name is Jessie Martinez.
I'm Valentina Vasconcelos.
And I'm Aspen Wooten. And our question of research is, does white supremacy still affect American citizens' lives?
We claim that, yes, white supremacy does still affect citizens' lives in a multitude of ways. The stock market crash of 1929 marked the beginning of the Great Depression. This event saw that the major decline in stock prices. Affecting people in a multitude of ways, such as mass unemployment and leading to major economic struggles. Businesses especially struggled during these times, forcing them to implement cost-cutting measures, disproportionately affecting job opportunities, especially for people of color. The discrimination within job processes became more and more prevalent during these times, leaving even the most qualified individuals jobless simply because of their race or ethnicity. It is important to recognize that during this era, segregation and discrimination was deeply ingrained within the American society. People of color faced hurdles such in receiving education, training, and networking opportunities, creating an unfair advantage for people of color. The lasting effects of that crash are still felt today. Studies continuously show disparities within the hiring pay and job advancements for people of color, as seen here in a report done by the National Science Foundation in 2015. As you can see, white men and women received way more opportunities than any other person of color.
Some social impacts played a role in the education of minorities. For example, students of color are more likely to be expelled or receive infractions because of how they dress or because of their hairstyles. Although there are improvements of inequality, the education system in the United States is still segregated by race and class, with minorities having to attend schools that are poorly funded, under-resourced, and overcrowded, while white students attend schools that are more spacious, well-funded, and well-resourced. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, in 2018, the graduation rate for white students was 89%, 79% for black students, and 81% for Latino students. Psychology Today says that the media frequently depicts minorities as menacing or subordinate, exemplified by portrayals of Latino gang members, or black welfare queens. As you can see in this picture from NBC News, the Republican Party sent out an email of President Obama as a chimpanzee.
Linking back to what Jess said about unemployment, the rates between white and minorities are very noticeable. We usually think that the unemployment rates is due to education, and however, looking at this graph here presented by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, from 2021, where it shows how far in education each race and ethnicity went. We can see that on the gray bar, it's how bachelor's degrees and higher, and Asians had a higher rate of bachelor's degree and higher than white people, and Black or African Americans had a slightly lesser rate. But when you look at this other graph, like the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, also from 2021, we can see that Asian people had a higher rate of unemployment than white people. So we can not 100% relate unemployment to education, but also to backgrounds of ethnicity and race. However, this economic problem has not been going on just now, it has been going on for a while. For example, we had the colonial period in which we had enslaved Africans come to America so they could work on crops, while white people were just watching them do anything, and without them, the US economy wouldn't have developed as well as it did. And we have the Manifest Destiny, in which Native Americans were replaced from their lands because white settlers thought that they could profit and have power from their lands. And the Jim Crow era was when separate but equal was a thing, or actually it was separate but equal, but nothing was actually separate but equal. The unemployment rates were not equal, neither were the wages. But nowadays we have the minorities who are speaking out about it by protesting. For example, we had the George Floyd protest, and we had the Stop Asian Hate protest.
White supremacy also had many influences on American politics as well. Due to riots caused by white supremacy groups such as the KKK, one of the only reasons why Black and colored people are able to participate in politics now is due to the hate crimes that the groups such as the KKK did to Black and colored people. For an example, leaders like Martin Luther King pioneered in the Black rights movement, which gave people of color the same rights as whites. And again, one of the only reasons this happened was because they felt the need to speak out, since all the hate and crime in America was going towards them. And now you see a much more diverse portfolio of people participating in the government, whether it's on the national scale or even on a statewide scale. Segregation also plays a major part in politics as well, considering that the majority of America, as shown in this map, is white. And this graph right here shows that the majority of white people in America vote for Republican candidates. And as shown and as seen in past elections, who's in the Supreme Court right now, governors, people who run the states, people who run the nation, a good majority of them are actually Republicans. So this shows that there is indeed some sort of white-oriented bias in the government system.
So our solution for this is that our solutions here are protesting can bring more people into the cause and get the word out more. And we could also encourage people to expand their senses and to new cultures and traditions. However, the limitations of this are that they can lead to violence, and not everyone may take these solutions seriously. So our chosen solution is protesting, because protesting is one of the more simpler ways to get your voice heard by the government peacefully. Protesting is more effective and can bring more people into your cause. Thank you.
We'll start on this side. So, Aspen, can you tell me how your group used Valentina's paper in this presentation?
We did a lot of the economics, and we showed how majority of the U.S. is mostly predominantly white, and how
Okay, all right. Sorry. Reflecting on your colleagues' works, which one had the greatest overall greatest impact on your overall understanding of what you're talking about?
Probably Jaslyn's, because it's historical, and well, politics has been in history, in American history, for a while, and so when she's talking about how the amount of segregation rose and fell, right? You could also see how politics still somewhat stayed the same, but what she talked about in her paper about what was happening in certain parts that she focused on really like helped me with my side on the political.
All right. Jazz, what's an example of one of your peers' IRRs that you decided not to use, and then why didn't you use it?
In Aspen's IRR, she talks about biases specifically for Black people. However, we wanted to include all people of color, like Asian people and Hispanic people, not just discrimination towards Blacks. So, yeah.
All right. Valentina, excuse me. What's a way in which your team's resolution makes you think different about the research you conducted?
Our resolution was like, there's no really an answer to stop racism and stuff like that. So the best we can do is try to get to the government so they can help us out, because the government probably will do something better than we